Nancy Green here. And I was curious, I wanted to know what inspired this story and what drew you to doing this story at this time.
Yeah, that's great. I the story came to me actually. There was some of it was already written. Or it was sort of like a very rough first draft of what the story could be, and my a friend of mine, Mark Duplass, sent it to me, and he really just wanted me to act in it. He had seen some of my other work, films like Crown Heights and Sylvie's Love and certain things, and he was just like, I think that you'd be great for this role. And, I jumped in on it and immediately I sent him back like a ton of notes on the script. And he just, he's a very busy guy. And so he basically said, why don't you just take over writing? Um, and at that point I'd never written anything. But I think he trusted that I understood the story, um, maybe in a different way than he would. And so he wanted me to take over and I took over writing. Page one just took over enhancing the characters and the story and seeing how I could make it that nuanced story that I was trying to tell. And then jumped into directing, which again was something that I wasn't expecting, but that's sort of how it all came together. And then within like 4 months, we were shooting it.
Great, thank you. And very exciting movie.
Thank you very much.
Nancy again. And my question is kind of similar, but I actually wanted to focus on the complexities. And one of the things we hear a lot is that it's so hard to direct yourself. And so, since you're starring in the movie, also co-wrote it and directing, can you talk about like some of the difficulties you faced directing and acting at the same time?
Yeah, I think the toughest thing for me was being comfortable with not knowing. And I say that because like, when you aren't directing yourself, when someone else is directing you, you're able to talk to the director, you're able to get feedback. The director sometimes might show you, okay, so this is what we just did, this is how it looked. So I'd like to move the camera just a little bit so that we're getting you profile, but keep this same intensity here that you're seeing here. Like you're able to have conversations. But when you're directing yourself, you're not able to do that. It's like you're in your own head, and there's no one, you can't go back and watch things like you can for other actors because we don't have that much time in the day. You know what I mean? If I can't do a scene and each take go back and see what I did, we just don't have that amount of time. And so you sort of have to go into it without knowing what the result is going to be, and because you're servicing everyone else, and you're putting everyone else sort of before yourself. So I think that was the toughest thing, not knowing what the heck I was doing and how it was turning out, because of the sake of time. But outside of that, I I think it's different for everyone, and for me, directing and acting at the same time was not as big a challenge as I was told it was going to be. Again, like for everyone, it's going to be different. For some people, I do know people that have told me they would never direct themselves. Like they could never, they can't do it. They don't, that's not their fault. They have to just be the actor or just be the director. But I spent a lot of time watching interviews with people that had done it before. From like Robert Townsend to Bradley Cooper, to um, Denzel and Jason Bateman and whoever it might be. I spent time watching their interviews and just trying to grab certain things from them that made the process a little bit easier. And at the end of the day, it wasn't as huge a challenge. I actually really loved it. Yeah, I actually enjoyed that, and I would do it again in that same way. I would direct on my own again, and I would direct myself again and will. So I enjoyed it.
Nice, thank you so much. Fantastic.
Thanks, Nancy.